All right, this one's a doozy. How to stop being triggered. Yeah, somebody says something, you read something, you hear something on the news, media, whatever, and you're triggered. You're like, oh my God. If you have a teenager, you know what I'm talking about. If you're married, you know what I'm talking about. If you listen to the news, you know what I'm talking about. We can become triggered by what people say or do or how they act. This just happens. My teenage daughter, I love her to pieces. She knows how to push my buttons like nobody else. My husband, right? Like he can send me into orbit. Like I can just get frustrated. And when these things happen, we quickly want to look at the other person and blame them. We want to point our finger outward. However, through the work that I've been doing for years, through all this personal development, I know that it's actually something in me. It's something in me that hasn't been healed. It is something in me that needs to have a look see, needs to be addressed. Because what people say or do, it's just words, it's just actions. How I respond to it and how I react to it, that's on me, right? So when I get frustrated, when I get angry, when I get overwhelmed, I got to stop and I got to just get present. I have to realize, like, what is it that I'm feeling? What emotion is it that I'm feeling? And what are the thoughts that are going on with that emotion? Right? Why am I feeling this way? What is it? And then you don't want to just take that first answer, right? You don't want to take that first answer because it's like, well, I'm angry because so and so did this. Well, that's not really it. You want to go down a couple of layers, right? You want to peel back a layer and then ask why. Peel back a layer and then ask why. Peel back another layer and ask why. Because so often our first response, our first thought isn't really truly what we're angry about or what we're frustrated about. There is something else underneath there, right? If we're angry, well, it could end up being sadness that's underneath there, right? It could be a fear that's underneath there. It could be a concern that's underneath there that is truly heart centered and you're wanting something better, not just an angry reaction or overwhelm. So it's asking why, then why, then why. When someone says something or does something, it's about them and their journey, right? It's not about you. How you respond to it, that's on you. That's your journey. Some examples from me that, that trigger me, tone of voice. If somebody use an abrasive or aggressive tone of voice or rude, dismissive, that can set me off. Um, when people, I'm an only child. When people criticize only children for being spoiled or blah, 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 that will set me off. Just something, that's there. If people don't clean up after themselves, if people don't listen, when people are rude or dismissive or cruel or mean to others, that triggers me, that sets me off, right? And I have to look at it like, what do all of those things mean to me? Why am I triggered? What is it that I need? And a couple of things that you can do when you find yourself triggered is one, just acknowledge the emotions, acknowledge that it happened. Allow yourself to have that moment, feel the feeling, and look at the why. Ask yourself why a few times, right? Take a pause. Don't react out of frustration, because if you react from that frustrated point, it's just going to add gasoline to the fire, right? It's just going to fuel that fire. So just pause. Give yourself a moment. Notice what it is. And then, second, take care of yourself. Like, what is it? Maybe it's letting you know that you are stepping over a need or your boundaries have been overstepped by others. What do you need to take care of yourself? Do you need more sleep? Do you need more exercise? Do you need to be eating healthier food? Because when we're not taking care of ourselves, we can be triggered easier. When we're tired and when we're stressed, right, we're able to, we react quicker from situations. So take care of yourself. And then three, realize that you have the ability to choose your response. Meaning, you know, understand why the things trigger you. Understand what that is, and then what need is not being met, and take care of that need. Is it something that you need to do some work on? Is it a conversation that needs to be had? Right? Just take a look at it. What is it? And then look at like when you're triggered. Like this is funny. It's like, what is the ultimate fear? Like, what is the fear or what is the worry that sends you into this orbit or this trigger? For me, like teenagers may not pick up around the house, right? I walk through a room and there's food, there's glasses, there's clothes, or wherever it is, they just drop it and there it is. That sends me into orbit. Well, my fear or my crazy hallucination, is that, my children are going to be this way always. Like they will just be messy people. They're going to drop things wherever they're at. Their home will be like a hoarder's. It will just be messy and nasty. And I know that's not true. It's just the way of being right now. But look at the reality. Like, what is the fear? What is the crazy hallucination that you're telling yourself? And be like, is that true? No, not really. So what is the truth? What do you need to work with? So anyways, we as humans living our human experience, we get triggered by different people, by different situations, by different emotions. And when we're triggered, it's giving us a sign. It's giving us a sign to look within of what we need to work on ourselves, or it's giving us a sign on what we so believe in and we want to take action towards, to help, to support, to do something with. So listen to it. When you get triggered, don't just point your finger to the other person and blame them. Take a beat, take a pause and see what it is that's triggering you. Why is it important to you? What needs do you need to meet? How do you want to be? How do you want to react to that? So you can neutralize the trigger, or you can get clarity on what it is that you want to do and how you want to be moving forward. So there's my thoughts on how to stop being triggered or how to work with that trigger when it happens. Wishing you an amazing day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye now.